This is the new Lexus RC200t, a 4-cylinder sporty luxury car. And I gotta tell you, there's something about that, oh my God, do you see that paint color? What was I talking about? It's making me so hot I gotta take this shirt off. This is kind of a sad day. This is the last RC that we're gonna be testing. We've done the RCF, the RC350, now the 200t. And it would kind of be pointless to rehash everything we've already done. We put a ton of time in on this platform. So let's take this moment and just reflect on everything we've done with this platform so far.
So high I'm hypnotized. What's up is down, what's left is right.
So much like the other RCs we looked at, this is rear-wheel drive, double wishbone suspension, aluminum in the front, aluminum carrier, aluminum control arms, upper control arm, upright, and you have electronically controlled dampers.
Tokikos.
You know what that means.
Tough.
And JDM. This car does not have four-wheel steering like our RC350 did, but that's okay because it still feels real good. It feels more lively than the other cars did. This is a solid platform, even though it's kind of a Frankenstein platform. It's very solid feeling.
What is the tread wear? Oh, 280 tread wears on these. And we got some high performance 2-piece rotors on this here thing too.
Would you buy one of these if money was no object?
No.
What would you buy?
Probably a Veo or a Spark.
So we're taking our last drive in the RC200t. And one of the things to note about the RC chassis is it's kind of a Frankenstein between a couple other models. The front is a GS subframe and suspension. The middle is the ISC convertible, and the back end is the IS part. So you have double wishbone in the front, you have a multi-link in the rear, and what you get is a really well-dampened car, even on horrible pavement. Like back here, it's just so choppy. And I made a note about the K900, the kind of the luxury car that Kia has come up with on the old chassis, and that car feels so horribly underdampened on a lot of bumps. And then you get in a car like this, which should be sporty and more jarring. The isolation that it gives you from just kind of the cross damping, you know, if you hit a nasty bump on the front right, you don't feel it on the left side of the car. It just always feels planted, it always feels stable, and it's one of the best parts about the overall RC chassis. So this is a good time to talk about stability. The RC is rear-wheel drive, and a lot of people ask this, well, how am I going to drive a rear-wheel drive car in the winter? And the straight answer is the stability control systems and the way these cars have been set up are so good from Lexus. You always get confidence, even in the winter. Now, I've been in snow, rain, and of course dry on these kind of mediocre all-season tires, and it's a complete non-issue. The rear end is so stable, and right now I have all the traction control off, stability control, and it's almost impossible to get this car sideways at any slower speed. Now, of course, if you're powering out of a turn, going way too fast, you're going to get rotation in the rear. It's still rear-wheel drive, but it's not as big of an issue as it used to be with cars like this. One of the big things I complained about on the IS200t, this 2-liter turbo, is just how dead the acceleration pedal is. When you hit the gas, there's such a delay before it gets going, and especially from a stop. Now, with all the driver's aids off in Sport Plus, you can feel it in this car as well. And somebody said, well, why don't you brake torque the car? Hold down the brake and hit the gas and get the revs up. Well, nobody drives like that in real life, but you can do that, and it does work. And then, of course, the car gets going extremely quick, especially for a 4-cylinder. Now, the problem is nobody's going to do that. It's really stupid to do that. So on a normal start like this, when you're not brake torquing the car, you're losing probably a good second, if not more, on your acceleration times. Now, we're going to turn off all the stability control, all the traction control, and go through some of the turns here. We're in manual mode and Sport Plus. And it will hold revs when you're in Sport Plus and traction off. This thing feels so much lighter than the RC350. It's just the weight's not there with having the 4-cylinder. The brakes feel strong. This is a really, really fun car, surprisingly fun for, you know, it is nerf having a 4-cylinder in a car like this, but this motor is so good, I would love to see it in a vehicle with at least 800 pounds taken off of it. It would be amazing to drive. But as it stands in this car, for most people, like if you're not looking for performance per se, and you're just looking for the look, this motor is gonna do you fine. Now, speaking of the motor, this is one of the smoothest 4-cylinders I've ever been in. The level of refinement that is here is unbelievable. If you get a chance to get in one of the 2-liter turbos from Lexus, just try it out and see if I'm wrong, because this is as close as you can get to being in a V6. Man, I wish this thing would get off the line faster. I think if I had one major complaint with the 200t, this is on all of the 2 liters, is I wish they would get the tuning where you could get off the line without such a delay. Now, the transmission is this typical 8-speed automatic that Lexus has been putting in their cars, which is extremely good for a torque converted unit, especially when you're in Sport Plus mode and the traction control's off. Not only does it hold revs, but it will rev match downshift specifically into 3rd and 2nd. So if we're driving here in 3rd and we want to drop down in a 2nd, it rev matches your downshift in a 2nd. Hits the rev limiter, does not auto upshift, and that's really nice, but you have to have the traction control and stability control all the way off for that to work and be in Sport Plus. Now, the other nerfish thing that they're starting to do, and not just this car, is this digital fake noise. Well, digital fake noise, I mean digital engine noise that they're sending through the speakers to give you some sound. And there's a rocker switch on the left-hand side of the car. When it's off, the car is dead silent. Let's have a listen. Okay. Not dead silent, but extremely quiet, specifically with this motor. Now we turn the rocker switch all the way up to turn on the digital engine noise, and you're going to hear this simulated sound. So you can hear that through the speakers, and I'm going to do another back-to-back clip here so you can kind of hear it on and off. Now, the only good thing about this fake engine noise is you can turn it off in here. You can turn it all the way off and just forget about it. So it's really not that big of a deal. And a lot of people say, why are they wasting their engineering time on putting that in here? Because, you know, it's one of those things, sometimes if you're driving with the radio on, and this is what I found, it's so quiet, and if you're using manual mode, you can't really hear where the engine's at. It's just overly quiet. So I find myself turning on the ASC, that's what they call it, so I can hear where the revs are at. That's about the only benefit I can see. So really, in conclusion, the overall driving dynamics of this car, this is nearly the ideal street car. It's rear-wheel drive. It's got a really solid chassis. It's a little bit lively, but it's going to save your ass most of the time. The point is, it's easy to drive. You're not going to be intimidated by this. This is not some edgy rear-wheel drive car. It gives you just a little bit amount of fun, and the rest of the time you feel completely in control. The second thing is the damping is so good in here. That's one of my favorite parts about it, especially being in a ton of cars lately. They have the damping just as good as you can get in terms of finding a balance between sport and just overall luxury. One of my favorite parts about it. Interior. See, it really doesn't matter what trim level you choose here. The RC has consistently been one of my favorite car interiors of any vehicle I've been in the past year. They've captured the essence of how a sports car should feel on the inside here, without being overly gimmicky or cheesy. There's a great combination of accents, different colors, different fabrics, materials. The ergonomics are spot on. There's very, very little to complain about in here. Lexus knows how to do an interior space almost better than anybody else in this price range. Now, before you go off half-cocked saying I'm a total fanboy of Lexus and Toyota, that's really not the case. I'm one of the more critical and jaded people you will meet about consumer products, cars specifically. I don't find the value in a lot of this stuff that they try to peddle. In the case of Lexus, there are problems with these cars. The infotainment, especially in the RC with this mouse pad controller, the overall graphical interface, this screen in here is one of the worst I've been in. The overall storage capacity, the door storage layout where you can't fit a bottle in it is just kind of inexcusable. The cup holders, you've seen better cup holder design in the RX and they still haven't updated these cars with that. There's a lot of little things in here that don't add up to a whole lot for most people. So if you're shopping for this car, you're gonna wonder, well, what's the difference between the 200T and the other models? And honestly, there's not a whole lot of discernible differences between the F-Sport models or the RCF. The one thing you're gonna notice though is there is this ACS rocker controller here for your digital engine noise. The good thing is here, unlike the RCF where you can't turn it off, you can kind of raise and lower the volume here, but completely defeat it. Other than that, you should go back to our RC350 and RCF video just to kind of check out all the interior details here. So in conclusion, if you're like us, you're gonna think having a 4-cylinder in a car like this is kind of nerf, and it really is. But the point is, you have multiple engine choices here. You have the RCF, that's a balls to the wall V8. You have a V6 option, so you can't complain about this too much. And the fact is, this is one of our favorite platforms we've been in the past year. The attention to detail on the interior, the exterior doesn't look like anything else. It's not completely watered down. And whether you like the front end design, you can tell where they're going with this brand, specifically with the new LC500. This is gonna be one of the cooler luxury monikers out there.
It's a cool looking car. I am so not in the mood to do this right now. I feel like